Temporal dead zone TDZ. A let or cans variable is said to be in a temporal dead zone TDZ from the start of the block until code execution reaches the line where the variable is declared and initialized. While inside the TDZ, the variable has not been initialized with a value, and any attempt to access it will result in a reference error. The variable is initialized with a value when execution reaches the line of code where it was declared. If no initial value was specified with the variable declaration, it will be initialized with a value of undefined. This differs from var variables, which will return a value of undefined if they are accessed before they are declared. The code below demonstrates the different result when let and var are accessed in code before the line in which they are declared. So here we have this example, and I'm gonna clean it up. I'm just gonna go to another tab here, Control Shift I, and okay, so inside of the curly braces, TDZ starts at the beginning of scope. So here you have the console.log var semicolon, the console.log foo semicolon, and now you have the declarations. The var declaration, var is assigned 1. Then you have the let declaration, the local variable foo is assigned the number 2. This is a local variable foo, and this is a global variable var. So we press enter, and we get undefined. An uncode reference error, cannot access foo before initialization. So here, the term temporal is used because the zone depends on the order of execution, the time, rather than the order in which the code is written, position. For example, the code below works because even though the function that uses the let variable appears before the variable is declared, the function is called outside the TDZ. So we go here, we clean it up, and this time we have the curly braces here. TDZ starts at the beginning of the scope. So you have the constant function, so you have the constant declaration, we have this function named func, and we have an arrow function. To the left of the arrow we have an empty set of parentheses. To the right of the arrow we have the console.log let var. We close up with a semicolon, and now we have a let declaration, local variable let var that is going to be assigned the number 3, and we close it with semicolon. Okay, so the result is gonna be 3. Okay, the TDZ and type of. Using the type of operator for a let variable in its TDZ will throw a reference error. So if we grab this example, okay, so in the comment says results in a reference error, console.log, the parentheses, type of I, and then we let the local variable I is assigned 10. We press enter, uncode reference error, I is not defined. Okay, this differs from using type of for undeclared variables and variables that hold a value of undefined. Here we have the console.log in parentheses type of undeclared variable prints out undefined, and we can check it out in the DevTools. Okay, yeah, when we console.log type of undeclared variable, we're gonna get the undefined. TDZ combined with lexical scoping. The following code results in a reference error at the line shown. So here we have this function named test, and the curly braces we have the var declaration, we have the global variable foo that is assigned to the number 33. Outside of that, we have the if statement, and in the parentheses we have the global variable foo. Now inside of the parentheses, inside of the curly braces, we have the let declaration. Now this foo becomes a local variable that is going to be assigned to the foo plus 55, and here is where it's going to throw the reference error. We close the curly braces of the if statement, and we close the curly braces of the function test, and we call the function test with parentheses. So we can check it out here in our DevTools. Press enter. Okay, here uncaught reference error, cannot access foo before initialization. The if block is evaluated because the outer var foo has a value. However, due to lexical scoping, this value is not available inside the block. The identifier foo inside the if block is the let foo. The expression here in parentheses foo plus the number 55 throws a reference error because initialization of let foo has not completed. It is still in the temporal dead zone. Temporal dead zone. This phenomenon can be confusing in a situation like the following. The instruction let n of n.a is already inside the private scope of the for loops block. So the identifier n.a is resolved to the property in single quotes a of the in single quotes n object located in the first part of the instruction itself, in parentheses let m. This is still in the temporal dead zone as its declaration statement has not been reached and terminated. So here we have a function named go, and in the parentheses we have the curly braces, and here is defined. So we cancel that log m, and we're gonna get this object a colon, and we have an array 1, 2, and 3. Outside of that we have a for loop. So for in parentheses let n of n.a. So we open curly braces and we're gonna cancel that log m reference error. So here's where we're gonna get our reference error. We close the curly braces of the function, and we call the function go in parentheses, but this time we pass this array a colon and this object 1, 2, 3, and we can check it out. We can check it out in the DevTools. So let me see. Okay, and now we're gonna check it out in the DevTools. So I'm gonna grab this stuff. Okay, now we're gonna go here, and it's gonna be okay. We press enter, and well, you have here you have the object. You have a colon array in parentheses 3, but now here you have uncaught reference error, cannot access m before initialization. So that is that. Other situations. When used inside a block, let limits the variable's scope to that block. Note the difference between var, whose scope is inside the function where error is declared. So here in this example we have the var declaration. We have a global variable that is assigned to the number 1. We have a var declaration, the global variable b that is assigned to 2. So now we have an if statement. So if the global variable is equal to 1, then the var variable a is gonna be updated to 11. The scope is global. Okay, now we have a let declaration. The let declaration of the local variable b is gonna be assigned to 22. The scope is inside of the if block. So inside, we are still inside of the if statement, and we console that log a. So the result is gonna be 11 since the scope is global, and we're gonna cancel that log b, and the result again is gonna be 22 since the scope is inside the if block. We are outside of the if statement now, and we're gonna cancel that log a, so the result is gonna be 11. But when we cancel that log b, the result is gonna be 2. So we can check it out. We can go here, Control Shift I, and here we press enter, and there you have it. So cancel that log a is gonna be 11, cancel that log b is gonna be 22, because we are inside of the if statement. But once we go outside, cancel that log of a, again is gonna be 11 since the global variable a is updated to 11. But when we cancel that log b, is gonna throw us 2, since here this we are not using var, we're using the declaration let. The let is a local variable. So now, however, this combination of var and let declaration below is a syntax error due to var being hoisted to the top of the block. This results in an implicit redeclaration of the variable, and here they give us this example. Let x assign the number 1, and then in curly braces var is assigned the number 2. So it's a syntax error, and we can check it out here. We go to the DevTools, press enter, and code syntax error, identifier x has already been declared. So here we have the let declaration of the local variable x, we assign it to the number 1. So here in curly braces we have this var declaration, and the global scope variable x, we are trying it to update it to the number 2, and that is the reason they're throwing us this error. Identifier x has already been declared.